Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another weekly edition of No Debate with your
Made it
two
to
hosts.
episode 3.
We made it, baby. Is it like this?
Yeah, it's like the Melo one. What are you trying to do?
I'm making my own.
Okay, so why are you asking me? Does it go like this?
I mean, I could always use help.
Okay.
Anyway, we have a great show today for you. What are our topics today?
We're talking about where Melo should go, if Grayson Allen's play was dirty, Jabari Parker, the Suns' future, and if the Spurs dynasty is over.
That's a lineup right there.
Yeah, it's a full plate.
So that's a Warriors starting lineup, big five right there.
Yeah, so we're gonna start off where Melo should go. And
All right.
what do you think?
I honestly think he should go to one of three teams. Actually, one of four places. I changed that. So either he should go to the East Coast, Eastern Conference, because if he believes in himself that he can win anything, he'd only make it to the finals in the Eastern Conference. And whether that be with honestly, but none of the top teams are going to take him on because he'd mess up their chemistry. But if he finds a team in the Eastern Conference that he can work with, go there. The Rockets would be a great team. He can go to. Lakers would be a decent team as well. But I also like the Jazz. I like them for LeBron. I like them for Melo. If he just doesn't mess up any team's chemistry, he could fit in a lot of different places. Because he is a great scorer.
See, yeah, if he accepted his role as not the superstar of the team,
Sure.
he could fit a lot of places because his game still lasts. He has a great post game, and he has so many offensive skills.
Right.
Thing is, I don't think that he will take that step down. We saw it in OKC that he virtually unplayable. I feel like his ego is just way too big.
Yes.
I feel like he's very big on ego. He's always cared so much about money. He's always flaunted his money.
Yeah.
And he's always just wanted to be the superstar and the star of the show.
Right.
So I don't think he really fits anywhere. I think if one team were to sign him, his best fit on a contender would be the 76ers. But that's just because they don't really have any scoring wings like that.
Right.
They have their big down low and they have their facilitator. But I don't think any team really should pick him up if they're trying to contend. Maybe a team like a bottom feeder team might pick him up just so they can bring in fans. But if you're a contending team, I don't think you should bring him up.
Like if like the Mavericks per se pick him up, it'd bring in people to the arena, adds depth to their team. They don't have their pick this year, so it'd be just another push to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But most teams, like you said, they don't need a black hole to sit there and take touches, especially away from the young, promising players, which is why I don't like that 76ers or a Celtics fit because he's a black hole.
As a Celtics fit. I don't think that's
I'm sure you hate as a Celtics fan.
No, as a Celtics fit.
Fit. Oh, yeah. I hate a Celtics fit. The Sixers, I see a fit, but I hate it because they don't need a black hole. Joel would get upset. Ben Simmons needs the ball.
Yeah,
I want Markel to get more touches next year because I do believe in Markel. I believe in him extensively. I only like him in the Jazz just because it'd be nice when Donovan Mitchell's off the court. Then it doesn't matter if you have a black hole because no one else is scoring anyway. Maybe Grayson Allen put up some points, but it'd be nice for Grayson to have defenses pay attention to somebody else, hopefully coming off the bench, so he can get his shots and get a feel for the NBA. I like the Lakers only because he'd be there with LeBron, so LeBron would be able to get him to accept his role as not being the face of the team. Because Melo's been in this year in this league for now 16 years.
Yes, 16 season.
And he understands his way of getting things done. While you make a lot of money and you can make the playoffs, you don't even go past the first round in the playoffs doing that. So his legacy only gets worse by him playing more and more and more and not winning. So if he goes to the Warriors and does what KD does and gets a ring on his resume, people will still not credit him for it because he was not essential at all. But then he does have that ring on his resume, and people were also hating on KD, talking about from the jump. As soon as he got those rings, everyone's like, "Yeah, we're not giving you credit for those because you didn't win those. The Warriors did." But
the ring would
looking
just
back
for
at
himself.
it, he gets
for his legacy.
But looking back at it, Kevin Durant's going to get the credit. Even though at the time people said he wasn't going to, but he's going to get the credit.
Kevin Durant, he was the MVP of the finals.
He was, you're right.
He played his part.
But if Melo does something in the finals, we'd say now that we're not giving you credit. But if he actually in the finals steps up, because when you've seen him on Team USA, he steps up. Players respect him. That's the best. Ever. Right. So in the Warriors, it's a similar culture. So in the playoffs, I believe if it's this last playoff or second last, he'd probably step up. Dwayne Wade will do it in the playoffs, not regular season, but playoffs he'll step up. He was good for a couple 25-point games or more last season. I think Melo could do the same thing.
We saw Carmelo play in the playoffs this year. He did nothing. His star-studded team lost to the young Utah Jazz.
That's true. That's true. But his also star-studded team was not a team that was predicated on ball movement and sharing and Like he wouldn't play defense.
Two of the biggest ball-stopping superstars in the league, in Russell Westbrook and Carmelo.
Right.
So that's the issue with Carmelo. He's never been an efficient passer.
But I think on the worst, he could be. Because it'd be comparable to Team USA situation.
He wasn't even a passer in Team USA. He was the scorer. Yeah, he would just pull up from
he was just drilling threes.
He was just pulling up.
Drilling threes.
Yeah,
that's true.
So he's never been a team guy really. He's never really been a winner once he left Syracuse.
Right.
So
really.
For him, I feel like he's 34. He's a literal grown man. He's pretty stuck in his ways of how to play basketball. He's probably been playing like this since he was a kid, as being just the best player on the court who was scoring all the time. So I feel like he just doesn't want to give that up and can't give that up. And it's just because it is a lot easier said than done.
He knows he's not getting paid anymore. The way people reacted to him opting into his contract, he knows it doesn't even matter anymore what he does. He's not going to make over $10 million a year for the foreseeable future, and playing his current style, he could make more money because he is about money. We were talking about this before we started filming about how much about his money he is and how it annoys you. If he's really about his money, he's gonna have to change his game because he knows he's not. If he opted out of his contract, he knew he wasn't gonna get that $28 million. He wasn't gonna get $8 million if he opted out. Maybe get $8 million.
I don't think he's worth the risk for any of the contending teams. Except the Warriors have the biggest.
Right. They have a huge margin of error, so they can take it.
If they took him on and he didn't play well, they could just be like, all right, whatever, you'll just get benched, or they'll have people to make up for his losses.
The only reason I like the Lakers fit is just because a lot of those new guys they brought in are older, so they all have that maturity level, and so there's a lot of guys there who will call him out. He's not playing with guys. He's older than everybody. He's not only playing with LeBron, but he's playing with Rondo and Lance, and he's playing with players who will call him out in an organization where Magic will call you out. He's not doing it to LeVar, but LeVar doesn't play on the team. His son does, and Lonzo seems to be in check. So I think if he was on that team, especially if they make another move and get another big-time superstars, and he sees that this could be, because whatever team he goes to is his last chance to win a championship. So he has a very small margin of error.
I feel like if they should do it this year.
Yes.
If they take Melo on for just 1 year, because they're not going to make any noise in the playoffs. So this could be an experimental year to see how Melo plays. But I just really don't think he changes his ways. I feel like that's just the person he is.
Honestly, I almost agree.
I just don't see him changing. So.
All right. Well, I guess moving on to the next topic then?
Yeah. So we all know Grayson Allen. We've all seen him tripping players and shit like that.
Yeah, he gets down.
Recently he's been in the news for what he did to Trae Young. I don't think it was a dirty play. I feel like it was just a hard-nosed play, and he is frustrated. He hasn't been playing well. But I think Trae Young made it a bigger deal than it was, and that it's only getting blown out of proportion because of the reputation that Grayson Allen had. He didn't jerk the player's shoulder. He just put his arms down so he couldn't get the shot off. We see KD do all the time when he swings through and pulls up to get the foul, and that's what Trae Young did. And he got the foul, but Grayson Allen made the smart play and not letting it have a chance of going in and held the arms down. He never yanked it like when Kelly Olynyk hurt Kevin Love.
Right, that was dirty.
I like the career that Grayson Allen is trying to create for himself as being the hard-nosed player off the bench who's probably a 3-and-D player, almost like a Lance Stephenson mentality, just getting in the other person's head, and he's showing that he's not afraid of anyone and he'll guard them.
Absolutely. I actually agree with you on this one. Grayson, we've all seen his college highlights of him just getting gritty, tripping people, doing whatever he's got to do to win, which is a mentality and a player that I like. I appreciate it. I saw that play, and I saw the kerfuffle people were making about it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, that wasn't dirty. Like it was controversial because it can go either way. But Trae Young had no business swinging into him. I hate when NBA players do that because you're not shooting it anyway. You're just trying to draw a foul. And he literally, like you said, just put his arms up and then dropped them so he couldn't get the shot. The only thing I didn't like about the play was the way he kind of like when he came down from putting his hands down, he kind of like trapped Trae Young in there. But Trae Young shouldn't have been in that position anyway. And Trae Young also was like struggling too. So it was just it was a weird interaction. But I don't think it was dirty. But in seeing that play, I saw why Donovan Mitchell was so excited to get Grayson Allen. Because if that's who's on your team, like that's one of the dogs you want to go to war with.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's my dog. I'd much rather play with him than against that guy. That guy. You know what I'm saying? So I love to see that, especially with him being so young. To see like, okay, this kid was the arguably third pick, but I guess he was fifth. He was just traded up, but he was a top pick. Put up 28 his freshman season, so he was getting talked about way more than I was. I'm gonna go make a name for myself. I'm gonna lock this kid up. That Trae had a terrible game. He's actually had a bunch of terrible games. He had 21 and 11 the other night. He still put up 4 of 12. It wasn't great shooting. The stats kind of
offset. Just had the ball so much,
right?
Like he's gonna put up the stats, the numbers.
I think that's kind of how his rookie season's gonna go. But on the topic of Grayson, I don't think it was a dirty play. I actually really enjoyed seeing it. Kind of made me wish the Clippers would have went and got that dude, because Jerome Robinson is young. I can see, but Grayson, honestly, he's making me proud. I'm excited to see what him and Donovan Mitchell do together.
He's not going to be a star by any means.
I don't think so, but I think he could be JJ Redick-esque with defense.
Yeah.
Maybe even put up 18 a game one
like
year.
A better Danny Green almost.
Yeah,
and
honestly.
More physical and more aggressive, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah, and more athletic. Have you seen his dunks?
Yeah, he did that between the regular 360.
High school dunk contest. He goes.
I didn't see his high school dunk contest.
Oh, he kills it. He's so athletic.
Did he have more bounce in high school than he did in college?
Probably not, but like he showed it off more in the dunk
contest.
Easier. Sure. Yeah. So, anyways, we agree on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're probably.
I feel like a lot
of people didn't.
I feel like most people just all saw the tripping, so immediately when they see
just assume
his name in the headline, Grayson Allen fouls Trae Young hard, they're all going to side with Trae Young, the superstar of college, and say fuck Grayson Allen.
Exactly.
But if you really watch the play and you understand what you're seeing, it wasn't It wasn't anything. It was just it was a harder foul. But it wasn't,
because I could see myself making that same shot, or not same shot, same defensive maneuver. Most likely, I wouldn't have made that drastically unless it was like the final shot of a game, because I'm a little bit more of a conservative defender. But I like to see that aggression in it.
There was nothing wrong with what he was doing. As a coach, I feel like the coaches would love to see that and see that he's not just going to hit him on the arm and let him get a chance of getting it up.
And that lets me know that Grayson and Donovan Mitchell can play together. Because then Donovan, even though he is a great defensive player, can do the LeBron strategy and take plays off and let Grayson go guard somebody and lock someone up.
Exactly. You can let him take on the opposing two guard.
And you know he's going to be ferocious in guarding him. So even if the offensive player is aggressive.
And it shows, while Grayson Allen isn't athletic in quickness and defensive maneuvering, it'll show that he'll do the little ticky-tack things in order to keep up with the offense.
Right. Because that shows he could guard someone like Russell Westbrook.
Exactly.
Who you would not think he could guard before. But now you know he's going to get gritty with it. He's going to get into his face. Okay, maybe he could.
Yeah, he'll at least get in his head. Because, of course, there's no way of stopping players like Harden.
Exactly.
But there are ways to get them off their game a little. And maybe if they miss one shot here or there, that'll change the game.
Exactly. So I like the play. So what's our next topic?
Jabari Parker and what his career is going to be after his rookie contract just expired.
So I honestly, Jabari Parker, I've been a big fan.
You've loved him
ever since Simeon came out of Simeon. Came out number 2. Duke, Blue Devil. I always like the kid from Chicago. Kind of similar story as Derrick Rose. I loved his game coming out of the NBA. I also loved him on the Bucks. So I thought he was going to develop a little bit quicker with Giannis and build a great foundation for that team. Once he was putting up 20 a game, I was really sold then because I was like, okay, this is what I envisioned. I envisioned it sooner, but that was what I envisioned coming out from him. And that was after he'd already torn his ACL. So I was like, he's already torn his ACL and is now putting up 20 a game. I am impressed. Plus whatever 6 rebounds and 3 assists he was doing with it while shooting fairly efficiently, 35 from the field. 3-point. I don't know what the field goal percentage was, but
it's like 50.
So yeah, so he was
very efficient.
It was a very efficient player. He was a good player, young, and then he tore his ACL again. And that's just not good for a big man to have tore his ACL twice before the age of 23. And when he came back, he just shelled himself. I don't believe, now that I've seen what he can do after coming back from injury and still turn into a promising player, I don't believe his career is over. I just think that the timing of these injuries was just terrible because he's not going to get paid like he should.
Yeah.
He can't cash in anymore. He can take the qualifying offer, he can take that route. But I think if he settles now, he will short himself. But betting big on himself with his injury history is questionable, you know?
Yeah, he's played like something like 40% of the games, not even in his rookie contract. He's a great player. Yeah, he played 25, then season. 76, then 51, and then 30. So that's nothing. Yeah, that's like half your games. Like, he's a great player. And I feel like since his game isn't predicated on his explosiveness and all that, he can come back from the ACL injury. I just feel like mentally it's going to be a big hill for him to overcome.
Absolutely.
Because after it happens, it's like, okay, like, we can get through this, like, we'll be good. And he comes back, and he puts up this great season, but then he does it again. And it's just like, fuck, like, what do I even do? So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't seen enough of him to know what his mental abilities are like, and if he's locked in and will be able to come back. From what we saw last year, it seemed like it hit him kind of hard.
It did. He's a young player, and when you just keep getting injured and injured, it's like, damn, like, what am I even doing this for?
Frustrating, yeah.
It's that nihilistic kind of like mentality you get into, which is just not good. I mean, because you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, like, I'm making millions already just playing the game I love.
Yeah, but I keep,
I'm not playing.
And going through that whole rehab process.
Right, and you got the whole city of Chicago, not the whole city, but you got a lot of people from Chicago like, yo, that's my boy, that's what I ride and die for. Like, I want him to, like, you got all these people, like, not only praying for you, but you don't put it on for people. And you can't. And it's not because you don't have the talent, because he has the talent.
And that's what makes it even worse, is that he can actually play.
Right.
So he just wants to go out there and show, like,
it's similar. I mean, it's just, I don't know what it is with Chicago's prodigal sons. Because Derrick Rose, same with him. Now Jabari. Now, Jabari and Derrick Rose are two different levels of players. Sure, don't get me wrong. But still, both of them are great players who have ACL injuries that just make them shells of themselves.
Yeah, it's just...
and you know they have the talent, you know they have the competitiveness, you know they have the dog in them. They're from Chicago, and they just cannot put it out on the court.
And it's gonna have such a huge effect on how much he gets paid, and because if he wasn't getting injured like that, he could easily be making
at least
18 to 20. Yeah,
I think at least, because if he would have, because he made 20 points a game last season.
No, I'm saying bare
I think
minimum
he would have
18
produced
mil.
probably 22 at least this season.
Yeah, he's getting better. He was good.
Yeah, right.
He's a good player.
I think he would have put 22, 8, and 4 probably this season if he never had that second ACL injury.
Probably not 4. Probably only 2
or 3
assists.
He was 3 assists, and
no, his career average was like 2.
Yeah, because his rookie season the year before that, and the year after that, he was not very good. But his best season, he was 26.5.
But apples and oranges, fucking 3.
So 4 assists is not. I mean, that's with Giannis's progression and Middleton there,
and fit well with Giannis in that team, and that would just make Milwaukee a dangerous team.
That makes that team a full-on
contender. They had
contender.
a healthy Jabari who was going into his 5th season, actually developing properly,
and with Thon Maker there too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not, he's still developing, but just having a 7-foot center who can shoot threes well and play defense well. Yeah, that team would have actually been
like so long. It's like the longest team in the NBA.
Right, a huge team. Yeah. Henson, Brogdon off the bench, like that team would have been great.
Yeah, it just sucks. I feel bad for Jabari. I just feel bad. That sucks.
So do you think he's going to sign a contract this summer? And if so, do you think he's getting paid?
No, he's not going to get paid more than $10 million.
I agree.
With his injury history, there's no way a team can take a chance on that, unless, of course, it's a bottom-feeding team just trying to make something happen out of nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like he'd be a good fit on any team. I feel like he could. Yeah.
Do you think he'd fit well with the Lakers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like any team, his game fits most teams. He's a stretch four. He shoots 36% shooting 3 threes a game.
Yeah.
So that's decent.
And he can play some spurts at small forward. I'd love to see him on the Celtics. To be honest,
he'd fit really well in the Celtics.
Because they missed out on Boogie. I'd love to see them get Jabari, because that's just 2 players who they should have seen as soon as they got injured. Those are 2 great buy low prospects.
They should have definitely got.
They should have definitely seen DeMarcus, because I did hear rumbling that they were looking into it, but by the time they were looking into it, the Warriors
it happened so fast. Boogie just overreacted.
Right, he overreacted to not getting the ball right away.
It's like,
he was like,
chill out.
Y'all didn't call me day one. Fuck this. I'm going to the Warriors.
Being out till March.
Right. Come on now.
Like, to think and see what else they can do. Like.
So yeah, Boogie overreacted, but still, Boston should have been knocking down his doors since before free agency, because knowing who he was and knowing that because he had that injury, and they, like the Warriors, have the luxury of being affording patience to him. Mm-hmm. They should have been down his door before free agency even started and be like, yo, so we want to bring you in. We don't have the cap space to give you the max, but we want to. But since you're hurt anyway, let's try to work this out. So we'll give you a short deal,
see what you can do,
right? And then you'll come back and we'll extend you for more later once you're under our cap.
Yeah, we will definitely give you the money if you
can do it because we have the bird.
Yeah.
So since they missed out on DeMarcus, I think Jabari would be great for them, because then Horford can still play center. Even though I like him at power forward, he can still play center. And they have, even Jabari doesn't really get rebounds like that, but he's just another threat on that team.
He just
Brad Stevens makes players play defense even if they don't.
Yeah, no, Jabari under Brad Stevens, I feel like Jabari's a really coachable player.
I think he is too.
And so I feel like he would really fit well in that system, and I think he fits well in any system. He's just a great overall player. It's like, it just sucks that he's so brittle bone.
Right. I would love to see him. I don't think he'd fit well with the Spurs though, but I'd love to see him.
I think he'd fit great under Pop.
He would be great under Pop, but with LaMarcus there, LaMarcus is not center, and he could play small forward, but
no,
he shouldn't be a full-time small forward.
He's not a small forward.
He should only do that for big lineups.
He's not a wing player,
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's that many Western teams where he fits great on. Maybe the Rockets, if they can get a sign and trade, even though I doubt the Bucks take it. So if they could sign him outright, but they don't have the cap with Chris Paul coming back. So I like him for the Celtics, even though he has not been signed anywhere. He's either going back to the Bucks, or I think he's going to the Celtics.
I think he should stay with the Bucks.
I don't know about that.
Depending on how much they want to pay him, I think he should stay with the Bucks. If a team is offering him in like the $12 to $15 million range, he should definitely go and secure some financial stability. Because with him, it's obvious that his career could be over at any second. It could be,
absolutely.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, if he should go to the Bucks, unless any other team really blows away the Bucks off.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you have to make decisions outside of basketball. That's the career.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
And with them most of them not having finished college, even though they can go finish it after. But
they're
it's so hard
make
to get back into that
money that they're making.
You're not making that type of money. But just because you have the money doesn't mean you have to spend it. Like, you can live a lifestyle of frugality with millions of dollars. And frugality with millions of dollars is not frugality when you don't have shit. Yeah. It's like, so I bought a Porsche today, but I didn't go out and buy a fucking Rolls Royce, Bentley, and a Lamborghini on the same day. Like, I just chill in my Porsche and I do my thing. So you can still live comfortably.
Yeah, more than comfortably
on that. It's just tough to want to go back to school, because the issue is it's not about like not having money. It's like, what do you do with your time now? Because Jabari Parker is marketable, but not like that, where he's got endorsements that he could be doing after. He's not Kobe, where he's gonna go.
I've never heard him like really talk or have an interview or be like this entertaining, larger personality.
And so when you just sit on your ass after that when you're tired, then it's easy to blow through money. But if you actually are doing stuff all the time, even if you're not making that much money, but you're doing something, even if you're volunteering, it's harder to blow through money.
Yeah, a lot of these NBA players, it's so depressing for them because the basketball's been their life. They've been playing like 10 hours a day since for 17 years, and they've played in the NBA. So it's just hard. So hopefully it all works out for Jabari.
Yeah, we hope we pray for you, Jabari. Get that bag, dog. Get that bag.
Really, secure the bag before anything.
Secure that bag.
Yeah. Next topic: the Suns' future. Are they the youngest team in the NBA? I think
they might be
the youngest or the second or third.
Yeah.
I think they have a great future. They have these.
I think the Trailblazers are one of the youngest teams too. For some reason, I was reading about that, and I was really surprised because I was like, they have
because they have McCollum, Dame, and Nurkic, who are all.
Well, Nurkic's like 24.
Yeah, he's like 25, but like I feel like the Suns have an average age of like 22.
They probably do.
Yeah.
Tyson definitely just raises that, but
Yeah.
they definitely are a young team.
But anyways, I feel like they are they're going to be the next great team in like 5 years.
I want to say that. I do want to say that. But how many other teams are positioned to be? I think in the West, they'll definitely be one of the next great teams. But I think the Eastern Conference is better positioned for the future than the Western Conference is, if all these players stay in that conference.
In what teams? Like the Sixers and the Celtics?
Sixers, Celtics, Bucks. Because
Yeah.
Giannis is still 24.
Yeah.
So I think all of those teams are stationed because the Nuggets and the Suns and the Mavs are positioned well for the future, but they're not nearly as positioned as well as the Celtics or Sixers. They might be positioned better than the Bucks, but if the Bucks
I know,
get
but the
young
76ers
piece,
and the Celtics run is... Fuck, no, they're so young. The
They're so
76ers are so young.
they're so young.
They
They're
can go
positioned
for
better than
years
any other
and
team
years.
in the league, despite the conferences.
But even still, the Suns, I feel like, can get to that level if Ayton is
That's true.
something, which I think he will be bigger than just something. I feel like he will be an all-star. He will be at least a 20-10 player.
I think in 5 years, it's possible we could see a Suns-Celtics final or
Yeah.
Suns-Sixers final.
Yeah, I think for sure they could be contending for titles. They have such great wing play, all young players. Josh Jackson, if he's even like a 15 and like 5-5 player, and he learns how to shoot
Right.
better and everything, like he'll fit so well.
Because
with
defensively,
Devin
he's
Booker.
already
Yeah,
great.
he's the lockdown defender of the team. He's the hard-nosed player. Ayton, like I said, I think he could easily be a 20-10 player.
Yes.
Booker at age 21 is already putting up 25 a game.
Right. Almost 5 and 5.
In the loaded West,
Right.
the loaded guards in the West.
Right.
And he's just balling, and he's so good. And they got Mikal, and I feel like
I didn't like the McCall drafting initially, but seeing him in the summer league, I really do like.
yeah,
the
he's
drafting.
hooping. So like they have the most important
Right.
thing in the current NBA, which is a stretch big, and then wing play.
Versatile wings on
Yeah,
top of
exactly.
it, not just wing power.
Exactly.
Versatile wing.
Yeah.
They just need a point guard now. I really thought they were gonna try to trade for Lonzo during the
Yeah.
draft because I think the Lakers would have if they traded the 16 pick. I think the Lakers would have traded them Lonzo and Luol Deng
For
and
just the 16.
just the 16 pick because they traded D'Angelo and Timofey for the 28 or 27 for Kuz, and the 16 is 12 picks sooner than 28. So I definitely could have seen them doing that, especially because Lonzo is not D'Angelo. D'Angelo's a better scorer. Lonzo's a better facilitator,
Lonzo's a
but
better
D'Angelo
player.
didn't have Lonzo's dad with him. So it's like you
Yeah,
get rid of
kinda
that
evens
circus
them out.
and you get rid of Luol's
But
contract.
D'Angelo was a snitch, so he was already awful for the
Right,
locker room.
that's true.
And he was awful.
He was a cancer for the locker
Not
room.
his dad.
But it's two locker room cancers though, just different ways.
Yeah.
D'Angelo was a snitch, so he isolated himself in that sense. Lonzo is not a cancer, but his dad is such a cancer that when your dad's criticizing players, coaches, and the organization, you don't want him there. And the Suns could have used a point guard of Lonzo's caliber for their future. That'd
Yeah,
be
he would have been
huge.
great because they have the scores
Right.
and everything. They just need the
They need
facilitator
a
to bring the
facilitator
ball
and
up
as a
and
defensive
initiate the
player, too.
offense. Yeah.
Right, he would have been great for them. And then there's not as much shit to talk in Phoenix
Yeah.
as there is
No
in
one's
LA.
listening.
No one
one's
is listening.
One thing I really liked that LeVar said, he said when he made the criticisms on Luke Walton, that
I did like
it
that.
would do one of two things. It would either bring the team together to rally around Luke Walton, or they just fire Luke Walton.
Right.
And they get a new guy.
Right.
And so like,
And they did
yeah,
rally around
it
Luke Walton.
worked. He got what he wanted about it.
My thing is sometimes though, that very well could have been his reasoning for doing that. But my thing is, I've come to understand that sometimes in life, we kind of just do things to do them because they're an instinctual reaction we have.
Yeah.
And then looking back, we will think of results that came of that and use that to validate what
I
we
feel
did.
like
that may not have been the
yeah,
actual
I could
reason.
easily see
and
LeVar
I could
doing
see
that.
him having had done that.
Yeah.
Because it looks a lot better on him now to be like, oh, look, I told y'all so,
He's a
because it
genius,
was either
yeah.
this or this, and this ended up happening, even though realistically he probably did just want
He
Luke
was
Walton
just like,
fired.
fuck Luke
Right,
Walton.
he probably
Yeah.
just, but masking it in that way, it looked more,
Yeah.
it looked better.
But anyways, we're digressing.
We are digressing. With the Suns' future, I do think they have a bright future. As long as they get a point guard, Brandon Knight could be
Brandon Knight's
interesting.
not. Brandon Knight's not.
He had
He's only back contract.
In Milwaukee, he put up 18 points a game one season. I'm not hearing he's nothing. He gets dunked on a lot. Don't get me wrong. Okay, this kid has got baptized. This kid has got brought back to
He
life.
missed the game-winning layup.
He's good.
Yeah,
Like this kid, but he, I haven't given up on him. He's like 26, I think, maybe 27.
he's really young.
I don't think he's a point guard really, but if
Exactly.
the Suns want to turn him into, because who else they got?
They shouldn't have. They cut Tyler Ulis.
They did, and I heard it made Devin Booker upset.
They're
And that's
best
why
friends.
I thought, and they're right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought he wasn't going to go with them. I thought they might trade him to the Suns for Lonzo, and Kuzma and probably Ingram, 3 of them for Booker, which would have been pretty
Definitely
star-studded. Especially, okay,
Could have
maybe
been like
maybe
Lonzo, and
Lonzo
like
Hart and
Josh
Hart,
Hart. Yeah.
Lonzo Hart to pick, and then if they got Booker, and they could then go, because I'm hearing that they want to try to get Dame, but the Trailblazers don't want to do that. But then if they had Booker and they could get Dame too, that team plays no defense, but holy crap,
Yeah, that's some scores.
that's some scores right
Yeah,
there. And then
that's
LeBron
points.
could play defense because he wouldn't have to do everything on
Yeah,
offense
you
anymore.
have 2. Like,
Because that
bona
backcourt
fide
would be
scorers.
automatically, no question, one of the best backcourts in the league. 2
Yeah.
players last year put up over 25 a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
No question, that's one of the best backcourts in the league.
Might even
And
be
you
the
got-
best.
Might even be the best because you
Contending
can
for the
count
best.
on them a game to put up over 50 in 2 players alone. What teams put up in a half, sometimes don't even reach that. 2 players alone will get that in a game. And then you have LeBron who can play offense, but then could also play defense as well now because he can afford it. I think that team would be sweet, but obviously that's not what ended up happening. So
Yeah, no, I knew he was going to stay with the Suns. The Suns weren't going to let him go, and I feel like
they weren't.
I feel
they
like
weren't.
Devin Booker is really comfortable in that situation.
He
home
is.
in
Absolutely.
Phoenix. I feel like he likes that atmosphere. It's not like this huge market that's like so overwhelming, but it's not a small market.
Right,
He still gets his shine.
Sure.
And
Do you know where he's from?
no, I don't.
Okay, but anyway, sorry.
I could find out in like a second.
I just know he's a Kentucky boy, and I'm like,
Yeah, he
I'm
went
sure
to
he's not from
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
no, I feel like he's from like Maryland or something.
If he was from California, that changes the game. But I don't, because if he's from Phoenix, that'd be sweet. But I think it would have been a bigger deal for him to have been from Phoenix and then played there, like Ayton.
He is
even though he's from the Bahamas.
From Mississippi.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's from
Interesting.
Mississippi. That makes
Why are
sense.
there no teams out there?
And
Like I wouldn't want to go play out there, but I could see why they'd want a team. Like,
yeah, there's no teams like in the South like that.
and St. Louis just lost their Rams. Like,
Yeah.
why are there no teams in Mississippi? If there's an expansion team, I could see the Sonics and Mississippi getting a team. That should be one of our debates.
I don't think they should expand anymore.
I think they should, because the talent in the league is getting deeper. We're digressing, but this should be a whole ass topic.
Yeah, okay. We'll say this for a later date.
This is a sneak preview.
But yeah, anyways, I feel like the Suns are positioning themselves very well to make runs deep into the playoffs in the future.
Right.
It's not gonna happen anytime soon.
It's my only thing is they are positioned well, but that's only if Michael Porter Jr. doesn't pan out for the Nuggets, because then they're positioned better than the Suns are. If Michael Jr. pans out, not at 50%, but
Hands
all
out,
of them.
like
If he's
what are
all
we
of them,
saying he's gonna
because
turn into?
how I saw him before he made the league
Oh,
was
in
a
high
mix
school,
of Kevin Durant and Paul George who didn't play defense.
Yeah.
If he turns into that,
I thought he was the best
putting
player
up
in the draft
20 a
when he was
game,
going into college.
I think so. I thought he could have been right going into college. So if he puts up in 5 years, if he's putting up 20 a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, I think that team would be better than.
And they keep
and they keep Jokic.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, Gary Harris.
Yeah.
I think that team would be
team's
better
cold.
than.
It depends on
I mean, Millsap would be too old at that time.
It depends on
could
who
get
they draft in the future. The Suns draft next year. If they get a good point guard,
That's true.
or they get some more wing play at power forward.
Mhm.
If they get a good power forward, that'd be
That's true.
killer, yeah.
That's true.
It's a shame Dragon Bender didn't work out.
It really is. I mean, he's still young too, but him
He
and
doesn't
Marquise
have it
Chris,
like
it's like, I really was going for Marquise Chris because that dude's bouncy. I like
Yeah,
seeing him in the
he's
dunk
entertaining,
contest, right? He's
yeah.
entertaining. But then you're like, okay, you dunk, we get it. Like Aaron Gordon dunks, but he does so much more.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon scores,
Right.
and rebounds, and
Like Marquise,
yeah.
you just dunk. That's it.
You're just
And
the
Dragon
sideshow
Bender,
guy,
right?
yeah.
And Dragon Bender, you just shoot and miss. Like you don't even shoot and make
Yeah,
it. Like
imagine
bro,
if he was like a Laurie
right.
Markkinen.
He,
Oh my god,
he's the
That's
gem.
gonna be
That was
killer.
a gem right there,
Yeah.
Laurie Marketing. But I thought, Dragon Bender could at least be like,
I think he could put up some points.
that
do
dude on the
something.
Hawks, not like a couple years ago, like Petrovic, not Petrovic,
I mean, how long ago?
like maybe 4 years ago, like 2012 maybe. When they were raw, when they had 4 All-Stars, when they had Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, Horford, and Teague as an All-Star. Petra, like, I'll think of it. Well, I'll put in the description.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he was cold. He was just a 7-footer who did nothing, but he would face the floor and they would shoot it to him, and he would just knock down threes. And he shot like a 38% clip.
I feel like he could have shot 30%, maybe not putting up like
right.
15 points a game, but if he averaged like 9 points a game, shooting like 40% from 3 and like
where you have to guard
and you got like a couple boards, he'd be a threat and he'd open up the offense.
Because he's 7 feet.
Yeah, you could just put his hands up.
He could be athletic. Yeah. Put your hands up, and eventually doing that long enough,
you just get in the way of people. You could protect the rim somewhat.
So I mean, he's 22, so I had the ship hasn't sailed on him, but it might as well because it sailed on Alex Len, who was another player who they just drafted because he was big. And that was a mistake on their part. Even though I did like it at the time, but at the time I didn't know as much about basketball as I know now. If they made that draft pick now, I'd be like,
oh yeah, when they drafted Dragon Bender, I tweeted out, Dragon Bender's the next Dirk.
Right. I love that pick, and I would still love it now if they made that pick. I just, now seeing how he's played in the NBA, I don't like him. But as a prospect, he's intriguing, and since he's 22...
He's the coldest name ever, too.
And it does. God,
Dragon fucking Bender.
Like, they need to just have his whole name on his jersey, or just take his first name on the back of that jersey. That'd be cool. Yeah. So, I mean, the Suns do have a bright future. I just could see other teams being brighter than them. But if things pan out how the Suns, I'm sure, hope they do, they could be in the finals in 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think so easily. Because Devin Booker, he's a killer. And he's only going to get better.
Only.
And so, I think he could easily average 30 points a game.
I think so, too.
So, if he's putting up 30... Even if he just stays at 5-5 for the rest of his career, that's still, those are Kobe numbers.
He needs to be more than Kobe. Him and Kyrie and Kobe need to just get in the gym, get in the lab, detail shit together.
Yeah, Kobe can teach some players some stuff.
Absolutely.
Kobe's a smart man.
So, our final topic.
It's a sad one. The Spurs dynasty, is it coming to an end? It seems like it, man. They're just losing everyone day by day.
Day by day.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season.
There's something up in that organization that niggas didn't see before.
It's just crumbling. It's all coming apart. They lost Tony 2 days ago. They just lost Kyle Anderson today. Like, Kyle Anderson, he's not like the biggest name player, but like he was still a piece of their team that was like kind of vital. And
Brian, he ain't even, like, the Grizzlies ain't even offering him that much. They couldn't match him for the talent that he has.
Yeah, he's a 6'7" guard.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's not the most athletic, but he's still a great defensive player.
He's a good defensive
player.
Shooter. He's a good shooter.
Great
and
facilitator.
Pass. Yeah, exactly.
For the Suns, Spurs, that's exactly what they want.
Those are players. Yeah.
Like, that's why they drafted him. And so for him to get paid 4-year, $37 million contract, not even $10 million a year, and the Spurs not to match that,
it's like, come on, like, that's not that much. It's not gonna be a huge cap hit.
Right, especially with these cap numbers. That's not that much.
And then Greg Popovich, he only has 2 years left. I feel like the Spurs dynasty kind of ended when Tim Duncan left, though.
It did.
I feel like they had 2 years where they were still like holding on because of Kawhi and just the team's reputation and Pop. But I feel like when Tim Duncan left, Kawhi lost the player Tim Duncan really bought into everything that organization wanted to do, which made it so much easier for
everyone else to
Pop to be the coach. And when you see your star player, he sets the example. He sets the whole tone for the whole roster to follow. Because it's like, well, this guy is already the best on the team.
Right.
And he's doing all these things, so like, we probably should do them too. Mm-hmm. So they lost that, and it got replaced with Kawhi. Someone who, while being very talented, isn't
not a leader. Right,
yeah,
exactly. You can't have the entire weight of the franchise on you when that's not who you are.
Yeah.
You can play that position on the court, but off the court, that's not fair to ask of somebody who's not ready to do that.
It's not his personality.
Right.
And it's no fault to him. It's just that wasn't how he was made. Exactly. He just wasn't a vocal person.
And I think the Spurs should have known that because he'd been in their franchise for a long time.
They around him every day.
Right.
Because it's kind of obvious when you don't. All the best leaders are vocal. Like Magic Johnson, vocal. Absolutely. Tom Brady, very vocal.
And it's not even. I'm not saying anything about Kawhi's intelligence, but the thing about these players too is they're all very smart. Like Chris Paul, Wake Forest, Tim Duncan, Wake Forest, Magic Johnson, Michigan State. Like they're all like very.
He's a billionaire.
Right, he's a billionaire now. Like they're all like cerebral players who are very smart. Not saying Kawhi's not, But they're players who are really smart off the court, which allows them, because of that, to transcend what basketball is and make this bigger than just basketball. Kawhi as a leader, it is basketball, because for him, basketball is life.
That's his own
but,
thing. Yeah,
and that's all he wants to do. So to ask him to take on a role where he needs to expand that and be like, okay, well, now I got to take care of all y'all because y'all my teammates, instead of just doing what I love to do, basketball. Yeah. It's not fair to ask of Kawhi.
Yeah, he doesn't like anything else. He still drives his same old car. He lives in this tiny apartment. Well, with players like, in order to lead the team in professional sports, you have to do things for them outside of the sport of basketball so that they become your friend and they buy into the relationship that they have with you. So that includes things like taking them to fucking paintball, buying them watches, doing all these little things for them.
Going to dinner, even something like that.
Exactly, doing fun things. But Kawhi doesn't seem like he's that outgoing personality type. So
he'd rather film study by himself. He's not gonna sit here and call up his whole team like, y'all come to my crib, we're gonna film study. Yeah. Like he'll go to your crib if you invite him, but he'd prefer to just do it on his own.
Yeah, he's fine just being by himself, just doing his own thing.
He's an introvert, which is fine. But usually introverts don't make the best leaders. They can. This is not a uniform thing, but generally,
of course,
they're not as outspoken, so they don't, unless they're a very social introvert, they're not, and he's not a very social introvert.
Yeah, it's hard to follow players who aren't speaking and talking and leading.
Like, sure, like do as I, it's hard to say, like, because I always say do as I say, not as I do, because I don't set the best example. And as a leader, that's good, but you also have to do as I say and as I do as a leader. And Kawhi would prefer to just be like, do as I do. I'm not saying shit, so just do as I do. And as players, especially when you're grown men, getting paid millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to play a game, you're like, okay, well, if you ain't telling me what to do, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Exactly. They all naturally just have these huge egos, which isn't, I would have a big ass ego if I was hooping, if I was the top 1% hooper and a millionaire. Like, you can't tell me.
On the Spurs too, on that organization, you can tell me nothing.
Exactly. So
especially if you ain't saying it either.
Exactly. The only thing I'm gonna listen to is a person who's richer and better, and actually that speaks and
Tim Duncan. And while he has a prestige because he's a Finals MVP,
yeah,
he's not. That's not who he is. It's not his role.
Exactly.
So that dynasty absolutely did fall off after Tim Duncan left. It's tragic to see because I don't see anybody else on that team who could pick up the slack once Kawhi leaves. I don't see any good trades being made for Kawhi because similar to the Paul George trade, people know where he wants to go. Yeah. So you're not willing to give that much up.
You don't want to take the risk and give him all your whole future. You're wagering your whole future that you can convince this guy to stay in your organization after only 1 year.
Right.
But he doesn't seem like that. I feel like he wants to go home, be around his family, and just do his thing.
I don't quote me on this because I could be wrong, but I think I've heard somewhere that he said he won't re-sign with another team if they trade for him. He's going to the Lakers. He didn't say that?
No, he didn't say that.
So don't quote me on that.
He doesn't say anything.
That's the thing.
Yeah, all these things are being leaked by his like uncle or other organizations. It's never been direct quotes from Kawhi saying. I've never heard him talk.
I have. Very soft-spoken guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But unless they can trade him. Like, the Lakers were going to be the best offer they ever got, and they should hop on that from the jump. Yeah. Because once teams knew, because I get it, they don't want to trade him to the Western Conference, especially to the Lakers, who are a rival team, but no one else is giving you anything because they know he wants to go to LA. And so that Godfather offer, whether it was Kuzma, Ingram, and Hart and a pick, that's the best offer they're getting, and that's a good haul for Kawhi, especially considering what Paul George got. Now, while yes, he's better than Paul George, I mean, Paul George ended up getting Victor Oladipo, and if they're looking for a trade like that, that's hard to come by.
But no one knew Victor Oladipo
because nobody knew he was going to
get the same numbers as Kuzma.
Right. Otherwise, OKC would not have made that trade. And so, I mean, maybe Kuzma could turn into some superstar like Thunder Pop, but
I don't think Ingram or Kuzma.
I don't even
superstar.
I believe in Kuzma, but not superstar.
I feel like
All-Star
All-Star, but not superstar.
Ingram.
Kawhi is a top 3 player in the NBA when healthy.
Yeah, you're not getting a superstar back. Bro.
Yeah, there's no way.
Maybe Kyrie, but
no person you're trading with is gonna give you an equal value for Kawhi. You're losing. The best you can do is just kind of bandage the wound.
They could get Kyrie though. Yeah. But Kyrie, I mean, he has said he wants to put it in New York, but the Spurs were on was one of the 4 teams on his list initially, so
I'd trade Kyrie elsewhere.
But he probably was like that because Kawhi was there, so. If you're the Celtics, because you know Kyrie's probably leaving anyway.
I'd want to guard.
Kawhi's probably leaving anyway.
They're so
but you have
forward
Rozier.
heavy.
You have Rozier. But
so
you're
forward
so
heavy,
forward heavy. But Kawhi is like, he changes the game.
Yeah, but you're risking it. You're taking him to the complete opposite side of the country of where he wants to be. If you represent Boston. So it's like such a risk just for Kawhi. You could trade, not for Kawhi, for Kyrie. And you could trade Kyrie somewhere else and just get better guard play. Because if they really
where
want
are you trading Kyrie to, other than probably Timberwolves for Jimmy Butler, even though they both out here want to play in New York together. You could trade him to the Lakers probably for something, but he probably wouldn't like that. But maybe them teaming up in LA, they'd like it. I don't know.
I don't get why Kyrie wants to leave. He's a great fit and great.
I do get why he wants to leave, and I respect it. It's one of the reasons why I don't respect Kevin Durant. It's because the Celtics are stacked. He knows they could probably win a championship in the next 5 years without him. He wants to go to a team that cannot win the next championship in the next 5 years without him.
But he'd still be the face of that.
He's still the face of that team.
Yeah.
But then there always argument will always be there, just like with LeBron, that LeBron got him the ring. With that Celtics team, even though he's the face of it, the argument will always still be there. Yeah, well, even if you got hurt again, they would have won it because Rozier was a great backup, and they had Tatum and Hayward because Hayward would be playing at that time. Horford, Jaylen Brown. He doesn't want there to be any excuses because like with Kobe's his mentor. Kobe had those excuses over the first early championships. Oh well, you got carried by Shaq. Those later championships, no excuses. Kobe won those. Kyrie wants that exact same situation. I respect him for it.
But if he goes to the Knicks with Jimmy Butler, that team's still stacked.
Yeah, but you can't say that without Kyrie they wouldn't won a championship. Because even with healthy Kristaps and Jimmy Butler, without Kyrie, they probably don't win a championship.
Yeah.
Now Knox, I love what he's doing in the summer league. I do believe in Ntilikina, especially with them in the backcourt. Ntilikina is such a long wingspan. If he can get that defense down, they'd be killer. Especially with Knox in there, Porzingis. Because you can slide him at the 5, throw Knox to the 4, Butler at the 3, Ntilikina at the 2, and then Kyrie at the 1. That's a great starting 5, especially for the next 5 years going down the road.
It'd be really entertaining. They'd be a threat to any
especially
team.
in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
because you take them from the Celtics, they could compete with the Celtics, they could compete with the Sixers.
Yeah.
It would be a great team. So.
It'd be a third team just to make the NBA interesting. But see, the thing that makes me so sad about talking about all this is that it doesn't matter. Because they're still going to lose to the Warriors.
It depends.
The Warriors are so good.
I'm sold on the Warriors winning the next 2 championships at the very least.
Yeah.
But that is only if things remain as they are. So they're healthy. The team is healthy. There's no internal conflict. Because David West, however overblown it may have been, did say there was some internal conflict. Depending on how deep it goes, that could still be there this year. And it could only get worse. Maybe it doesn't even manifest itself, but who knows?
I agree.
As the present day suggests, it's over. But I'm hoping something happens.
I hate the Warriors, but the talent they have and the way they play and how they play together suggests that they should win the next 2 to 3 championships easily.
I think the first next year easily. The next year after that, maybe not. And the year after that, it'll be a fight. Because by that point, the Sixers and the Celtics will both be really raw.
And, hopefully the Lakers can get something. Because LeBron's so great that he could be a threat to that team, but you just...
If LeBron gets a piece, he could be a threat. But as of right now, in the next... this year, no one is a threat. But I think next year, on Gordon's 3rd year of that contract, if they can somehow get Kyrie, even if they can't keep Kyrie, I think Rozier will hopefully develop, especially Smart as well. Jaylen Brown will surely put up 20 a game. Tatum probably 25 a game. Yeah. Hayward probably still put up 20 a game. Horford would be a shell of himself, but he'd still be a presence on the court. Hopefully their big man Robert Williams would develop. Maybe they could get Boogie by that point in time or something. And I think they could in two years actually challenge the Warriors. Because the Warriors will be a little bit older, but they're still not going to be old. They'll be 30. They'll just be 30.
They won't fall off. And they're all shooters, so the greatest talent will stay until they're 35.
Right.
But
anyways, we'll have the most drastic fall off. But he's one of the younger players. Yeah.
Nice. He's like the same age as Clay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, for our final takes, Melo doesn't really fit anywhere. Grayson Allen, hard-nosed player, just making his thing, doing his thing. Jabari Parker, could be great if he weren't for injuries. The Suns, bright future, just like the sun.
I don't know if it's brighter than the sun, but it's bright features.
It's very bright. And the Spurs dynasty is, after 20 years of 50 wins, has finally officially came to an end.
Crumbling beneath our feet.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you follow our Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
If she French, I gotta bag it. Eiffel Tower, my team tag it. Popping bars like they built it. My favorite pairs be a Hilton.